Okay, here we go. We're going to make some sugar cups. These are fancy little things that you probably wouldn't make every day, but you know, a nice party or something, you would make these. All right, what I have in that bowl there is egg whites, flour, and sugar. And I'm going to tell you what the weight of everything is here in a minute. You have to have a little scale for this. You need a scale. I don't have the stuff measured out in cups and tablespoons. It's measured out in weight. All right, now I'm adding some egg whites to whip up. Now, listen, there's a couple tricks with egg whites. If you've had bad luck with egg whites before, here's what you have to do. Number one, if they're room temperature, they whip a lot easier. Number two, there can't be any grease on any of the utensils. You cannot have grease. You gotta wash every, you know, the bowl, the whip, everything. It has to be grease free. If you do that and you have room temperature egg whites, they're gonna whip up to stiff peaks. I guarantee you. There's, you know, but again, you gotta have grease-free utensils and room temperature. All right, so that's what I'm doing there. I'm whipping up egg whites, and I'm gonna fold the egg whites into the flour, sugar, and there's more egg whites in that bowl there with that white blob of stuff. All right, now I also cut a piece of cardboard, as you can see. Now the cardboard has got to be thin cardboard. You can't use thick cardboard. It's got to be thin. In fact, corrugated cardboard doesn't really work very well. The best cardboard to use is like a cake box cardboard, that real thin, you know, white cardboard that you get in from a bakery, you know, with the cake. That's the best cardboard to use. And you don't have to make the little star shape. You can just cut it round if you want. You know, it's totally up to you. The stars, the little diamonds there, I put that in, yeah, just for the heck of it. What I did was I cut it with a, what do you call that, a box cutter. So you cut that out about that size. Depends on how big you want them. You know, this size is good for one dessert. You know, you fill it up with a little bit of pudding, put in some berries, or, you know, I mean, you can put anything you want in there. Ice cream, you know, anything. Also, the flavoring in here is vanilla. However, let's say you're going to serve rum raisin ice cream. There's no reason why you can't make the cup with rum. You know, not rum, but rum extract. You can use orange extract, lemon, you know, any kind of extract you want, that's up to you. With the vanilla, what you're going to get is a kind of a vanilla wafer taste. All right, there's the egg whites. They're at a stiff peak right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them into the flour, butter, and more egg whites there. I'm going to fold these in. Now, what happens when you fold something in is you first start out, you have to get the stuff, you know, you got to work the stuff a little bit. You got to get it kind of thin. So that way the other egg whites are going to fold in a lot easier. You know what I mean? If you try to mix the whole thing together all at once, forget it. You're going to end up with chunks of egg whites, and it just doesn't work, you know. So I do it in 3 different portions, and by the time you get to the third one, it's very easy to fold in the egg whites. All right, so now listen, write this down. Here's what I have in there. I've got 3 1/4 ounces of butter, 5 1/2 ounces of sugar, 2 1/4 ounces of egg whites, not beaten, and then 3 3/4 ounces of flour. So what you do is you mix the sugar and the butter. Mix that all up. Then you add the egg whites. You don't have to worry about beating the first batch of egg whites. Don't worry about that. Just pour them in. Mix all that together, then add 3 3/4 ounce of cake flour. All right, then you beat 3 1/2 ounces of egg whites. And there you go. And then you fold them in, and it's that simple. It's done. Uh, all you need now is a flavoring. You know, a little bit of vanilla, rum, orange, whatever you want. You know, you can flavor them whatever you want. All right. So what? I don't know. Maybe consistency of maybe cake batter, something like that. You know, you want to. You don't want it too thin. You don't want it too thick. You can tell when you look at that batter, if it starts to look like there's little separation in it, then you got to add a little bit more. All right, there you go. My computer's messing up. Okay, now there's that piece of cardboard that I cut the whatchamajiggy out. Now it's the bottom of a cookie pan, and I greased it. All right. So now what you want to do is you want to put the batter into this form that I made out of that cardboard and smooth it out. All right, make it as thin as possible. That cardboard was almost too thick. Like I said, the best cardboard to use is from a cake box, not corrugated cardboard. This one was corrugated, but it was very thin cardboard. So there you go. Now you just put that in the oven at 375. Okay, now what you're going to need is you're going to need some glasses or some kind of something that is tall enough to where when you put the thing on the bottom of the glass and it doesn't hit the counter. There, okay, scrape it off. Now look, they're pliable when they're hot, but once they get cold, they're not going to be pliable. You're not going to be able to get it off of that pan and try to bend it around the glass. It won't work. So you have to do it when they're hot. Okay, so there you go. Scrape that off, put it on the cup. I'm sorry I didn't video this properly, but I think the next ones I show you how to smash them onto the cup. It's not, you know, you just put it on the cup. There you go, and just smash it down. That's all. It's a piece of cake. All right, then let them cool. All right, here's a couple more that I made. They're coming out. Now this recipe makes approximately 6 to 8. I'll give you the ingredients again, but it's approximately 6 to 8 cups. You know, it all depends on how big you make the cardboard. You know, depends on how thick they are. You don't want them too thick. If they're too thick, they won't get crispy. Yeah, you definitely don't want them too thick. And also, you want to make sure they're cooked all the way, because if they're not, then they won't get crispy. You know, they'll stay spongy. You don't want them to be spongy. You want them to, you know, be cooked enough to where they're crisp. All right, that one broke, as you can see. You know, you might break a couple. You know, nothing's going to be perfect here, especially when you first try it. All right, there you go. Now, once they're cool, you can take them off. Pull the cup. Once they're cool, you can pull the cup off the bottom of the glass. You might want to spray the glass with a little bit of oil before you put the cups on it. You know, that way it'll release real nice for you there. All right, there you go. See, in Florida, I can't make these in Florida. Today was a non-humid day, which is rare in Florida. If you're in a humid area, you have to make these like 10 minutes before you serve them. You know what I mean? If you're in an area that's not so humid, you can make them actually a day ahead and just keep them in an oven and they'll stay nice and crisp. But in a humid place like Florida, forget it. You know, it's very rare that you would see these in a restaurant in Florida. Unless, like I said, unless they're making them that day, you know, right, you know what I mean, a couple 20 minutes before you order them. Otherwise, forget it. So, like I say, you're going to get about 6 to 8 out of that batch. And boy, they fucked up. My computer's messing up, you guys. All right, anyway. There we go. We're going to make a couple more. That's it. Now those pans are a little bit warm. You have to let the pan cool 100%. Otherwise the butter is going to start to melt. The butter that's in there is going to start to melt. So let your pans cool all the way, and you'll be good to go. Let me see. I don't know where I am, man. My computer's messed up. I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, there you go. There's a couple more. I'll give you the ingredients one more time. It's 3.25 ounces of butter, 5.5 ounces of sugar, 2.25 ounces of egg whites. Mix all that together. Then add 3.75 ounces of cake flour. Mix that all together, and then beat your 3.5 ounces of egg whites. Beat those separately, and then fold them in. It's a very simple recipe. I mean, it's not hard at all. That's what you need is a box cutter to cut the cardboard. Then you need the cardboard right there. You need a cake knife, and you need a couple glasses that are tall enough so that when you put them on, they don't hit the counter, so that they give you a nice edge. And you need a little scale. Go to Walmart, buy a scale. They're $5. I mean, you know, it's worth it. It comes with a little plastic cup. You know, you put the cup on there, you can measure stuff out. It's nice. All right, here, I'm going to add a little bit of pudding in there. I don't have any fruit, otherwise I would. I'd put some strawberries, blueberries, you know, whatever. A little bit of whipped cream, maybe some, you know, a mint leaf or something for color. Man, this is really a nice dessert. I mean, it looks really cool when you bring them out to the table. You could do, you could put in graham crumbs on the bottom and put in, you know, a cheesecake filling. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do here. It's really nice. All right, now these are nice and crisp. They kind of taste like vanilla wafers. They have a vanilla wafer flavor to them if you use vanilla. Now, if you use something else, well, then you got something else. All right, anyway, look, you can find this somewhere else. You ain't going to find it any better than this. I got to go. I got to eat.